What's up, y'all? How's it going? It's Burning Down with Kim Brown. It's Tuesday. Mercury is in retrograde, and I'm feeling that shit. And before y'all log off, before you turn away, hear me out. Hear me out. Mercury in retrograde affects communications, electronics. Shit can get, whatever. The messaging can be a little muddled. And I gotta say, I was having a difficult time focusing. I couldn't focus today. But I still gave it the old community college try. I gave it the old community college try. And here we are with a bit of a presentation for y'all on tonight. I appreciate you guys making some time. Listen, I'm giving y'all my quiet storm voice. Quiet storm. And that was a little bit of Drew Hill, followed up by some Jodeci, with a little Jasmine Sullivan back there to get you started off. Anyway, it's Kim Brown. Call me up at do not call me. I'm just kidding. I told y'all, lack of focus. My deepest apologies. Let me apologize at the onset of my little program here. Thank you all so much for showing up. There go my son Tyler. What's up, Tefpo? What's going on? There go Afro. What's up, Afro Sings? Who else we got in here? I saw Damien Stone Aloner. Damien, hello. Thank you for being here, Damien. Oh, there go Franny Francais. Love to see it. You know I do. Anyway, guys, so I think in part my energy and maybe my focus is a little depleted because of the topics of which I have been engrossed in lately. I listened to Justine Barron's book about Freddie Gray. It's very good. And it bummed me out. It bummed me out. I think I was bummed out because by the time that I actually did the thing last week, the panel that I moderated in connection with Justine's book release, I think I had made it to maybe like chapter 12, and I think the book actually went up to like chapter 15. So over the weekend, I listened to the remaining chapters, and her conclusion, of course, very excellent. I can't recommend the book enough. But the material, it was heavy and it bummed me out, right? And of course, coupled with the incident that occurred over the weekend in Jacksonville, y'all know I'm not some prescient sage so much as, I've just been Black in America for 45 years. So I know how shit goes around here. But that too was a big bummer. And I could only hear truly my own words echoing in my head that Trump got shooters out here. Trump got young shooters out here. Trump got old shooters out here. And not to say that 21-year-old Ryan Palmatier was acting at the behest of Trump or DeSantis or anybody else, but his own racist ideology, his subscription to white supremacy, that white Americans are born into and entitled to, and actually have to make very deliberate efforts not to subscribe to that shit. Shout out to all the anti-racists, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit bummed me out. I can't even lie and act like it didn't. So I'm gonna talk about that tonight, y'all, because there are some things that we need to discuss. But I want to thank everybody for making some time for coming through. I see Wendy here. I see Donnie also in here. I appreciate y'all making some time. Thank you to everybody that also came out and watched the Remix Morning Show this morning. Justine was on with us today. And I got to give kudos to my BPM comrades. Jared and Kamal asked brilliant questions of Justine. So I really appreciate that. So anyway, y'all give my video a thumbs up. What's up, 40J Blaze? I would appreciate it. Who is these people? I can't hear. Does that say Silky Slim? We got new ends in here. What's up? I appreciate it. Hey, I guess we gotta grow. I begged BPM subscribers to come subscribe to my shit. So maybe some of y'all is thems, which is fine, which is excellent and great. What's up, Silberg? Coming through. I love to see y'all in here. Yo, let me shout out. Let me shout out. What's up, Schultzy? Yo, let me shout out from Friday. I saw Black Magic in the building. I saw like a lot of my favy faves who I don't see all the time, but I recognize that you all be posted up in the back. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. You don't always have to come in the chat and announce your presence. I just be glad that y'all be here. What's up, Steve? I do. I just be glad that y'all be here. So thank you all so much for coming through to the program tonight. Emmanuel, hello. I have to see you guys. I mean, for the new youngins, for the new fire famers, as it were. I mean, I'm as standoffish online as I am in person. Okay, like most YouTubers would be excited to see new faces. I'd be like, who the fuck is that? Whose man's is this? Whose man's is this? You know what I'm saying? Like people, like you gotta be coming with some sort of, somebody's got to vouch for you. So I know you cool, because sometimes we get some rando scragglers in here that be on some bullshit. And unfortunately, I do not see either of my mods in the building tonight, but that's fine. Shout out to Courtney and Latif in general. So thank you guys for being around. Hey, and we might need to recruit a third. What's up, Camille? We might need to recruit another mod up in here, cuz there go Latif. Hey, Latif. Because you know, we just might need to add to the mod. So if you might be interested in modding, raise your hand in the chat and we'll get to it. We will be starting to go through applications here soon, as it were. So anyway, like, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. So let me get to the story, everybody. Obviously, what happened Saturday afternoon, August 26th, Jacksonville, Florida. Can I send some love going out to our Fire Fam member, actually, T-Mo? You guys recognize T-Mo has been in the chat. T-Mo is in proximity to that area, is native to that area. And Tasha, I just want to say I am so sorry that that happened. I'm so sorry that your whole community has had to experience this, and by extension the entire Black community in this country has had to experience this, and by extension the entire African diaspora, right? Because even when I hear about anything happening bad to Black folks anywhere in the world, I feel that shit. I do. What's up, Kofi? So I know. So anyway, I want to send our condolences going out to the entire Jacksonville community, and especially specifically to our Fire Fam member, Timo, because that's 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 where they be. That's where they originate. So let me get to this. So Will, if you could please pop up the article, because before we get into the dramatics of the political reaction, what has been known about the shooter, Ryan Palmatier, I do want to acknowledge the three Africans that we lost, these Black folks that were minding their literal business in as many ways as minding your business. Like, you cannot be more minding your fucking business than going to the Dollar General 1-2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And we lost 52-year-old Angela Carr. We lost 19-year-old AJ Laguerre. And then we lost a young brother, 29-year-old Gerald Gallion, whom has been described as being a devoted father to his 4-year-old daughter. I saw the press conference Ben Crump held, because he is going to be representing the families of these victims. And the 4-year-old daughter of Gerald was there. And they said I'm not sure who this woman was to him, his relative. I'm not sure if it was his mom or his sister or his aunt, but he said, or rather, she said that they have not even told the 4-year-old that her father is gone because of the closeness of their relationship, how close she was to her dad, how involved her father was with her every single day. They don't even have the heart to tell her. And that is a devastating thing. So the entire community of Jacksonville, the state of Florida, Black folks in these places, we're with you, y'all, because these are what 21st century lynchings look like. And unfortunately, targeted racial terrorism coming from racist white folks aimed intentionally at Black communities is nothing new. It is American as apple pie. When these dumb fucking politicians like President Joe Biden and Nikki Haley and the like, there's no place for hate in America. Bitch, tell America that. What the fuck? I mean, what are these empty rhetorical phrases for? Who are y'all fooling here? This is what this country was founded on. White terrorism. Okay? I wish it weren't so. And if it makes white people feel bad, well, tough fucking shit, man. That sounds like a them problem. But the problem is they make it an us problem, right? I wanted to get into some clips here. And one clip that jumped out at me, well, if you could please cue up that News for Jacksonville package, because the reporter there spoke with an eyewitness, a young girl, a young mother, rather. It's so hard for me to look at Black folks and tell how old they are. I really can't tell. I'm looking at this young girl. She could be 16. She could be 25. I don't know how old she is, but she's young. Young mother who was there at the Dollar General shopping with her 2-year-old, her baby. She was there with her baby. And when the gunshots erupted, she went to hide. And it turns out that, according to her, the shooter, the Nazi white supremacist race soldier, Ryan Palmatier, even though I've heard his name pronounced a couple of different ways in the press, I've heard Palmater. I'm saying Palmatier because I actually went to school with someone with the last name of Palmatier. So it was, when I saw the name, I'm like, that's not a name you encounter all that often. I bet you it ain't that many of those, but maybe it is. What the fuck I know. But anyway, so this clip we're about to see is going to be an eyewitness account of someone who survived the shooting, someone who actually had a verbal encounter with this shooter, seemingly after the shooter, that is, after they had already murdered the 3 Black victims. So let's take a look at this piece. This is from News for Jacksonville. And just listen to the chilling account of this young Black mom. Let's take a look.
News for Jax reporter Scott Johnson spoke with a woman who was inside the Dollar General during the attack. Scott?
She was inside with her 2-year-old daughter, Tom, shielding her daughter, thinking she was going to die, thinking her daughter might die, as she came face to face and even spoke with the killer.
Mercedes Jones was shopping for art supplies with her 2-year-old daughter when she heard the shots.
Was your mind with your daughter at the time?
That was my whole motive, get her out here alive. I didn't care if he shot me, just not my baby, please. The last moments I had with her, she was being bad.
At first, Jones says she didn't know what was happening, but went into the back of the store with some older women to hide. She says one man was there and hopped a back fence to escape, but they couldn't do that.
But I didn't know the nature of the crime at the time. All I know was I gotta get my baby out of here. Then he came behind the store and we saw him. He was like in military clothes. He had like this Marine fit on, a bulletproof vest, and the biggest gun I have ever seen strapped around his shoulders. And he just sat there. He watched us. He could have killed us all.
Jones says the gunman walked up to them and spoke to them.
When there was 3 other women, older women, that worked there behind that building with me. Everybody else could jump. I couldn't. I had a baby. So therefore, we begging for our lives, and I failed begging for mine, blocking my baby with my body. And then he was like, if you don't want me to shoot you, run.
So Jones ran. Unfortunately, because she was carrying her daughter, she fell, skinning her knees. But she finally was able to escape to a nearby property. Eventually, police came to find her. And even then, Jones says she was still terrified.
And then I was scared to go with the policemen afterwards when they actually banged on the apartment door and found me. I was scared to go with them because they had the same gun wrapped around their shoulder. I was like, you look like him.
Her and her mom and her daughter are trying to all just get through this right now. They say one of their struggles has been finding services to help them through this time. They just keep calling numbers and don't know really who to turn to. We're live tonight. Scott Johnson, Channel 4.
There was so much. There was so much in that. First of all, this massacre in Jacksonville literally could have been way worse. As terrible as it is, 3 innocent lives stolen. It sounds like it very easily could have been 6, 7, 8 innocent lives, including that of a 2-year-old toddler that could have been taken. And I'm curious, though we'll never know. I wonder what made Ryan Palmatier not shoot those people. He hated black people so much. He shot three random strangers that he didn't know simply because they were black. And he had the opportunity to shoot at least 3 or 4 more, and he didn't. I can't speculate as to what made him make that decision. The fact that, when we're talking about how to protect yourself or what to do in an emergency situation, such as a mass shooting or the like, that's a real good example of how sometimes, and obviously this young lady's not disabled, but she was impeded, let's say, by her having a toddler, right? She couldn't run and climb a fence and jump because she had a 2-year-old. It sounded like there was an able-bodied man back there with them that ran and hopped the fence and left the older ladies plus the young mother with the baby girl, which, I don't even know how to feel about that. Do I fault the brother for bouncing because he was able to do so? Was he supposed to stand there and potentially give his life in defense of these others? I don't know. I mean, I'm literally just asking the questions out here, right? When she said after she was able to get away to a nearby apartment and the police came, and she didn't even want to open the door for the police. She didn't want to go with the police. Why? Because y'all look like him. Y'all look like him. What's the difference visually between an armed white supremacist and an armed police officer? Not much, especially from the eyes of that young woman. And trust me, I can understand her reluctance. I can understand why she was terrified. It is a miracle that that young lady was available to tell her story. And I'm so very grateful that she and her child and the others that were in the Dollar General that Saturday, August 26th, I'm glad that there were actual survivors. I'm glad that it wasn't a full-on massacre, as horrific as it was. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it wasn't worse. It very easily could have been. So there is the shooter, 21-year-old Ryan Palmatier. And the information so far about him is scant. Would you guys agree? I have not heard a lot more added from what the sheriff said over the weekend at a press conference. That he was from nearby Clay County, that he drove into Jacksonville, at first to the campus of the HBCU, was at Edward Waters University, where he was somehow thwarted by a black campus security officer who has been heralded as a hero. I would like to know more about what the security man did. I keep seeing him getting accolades, and they are deserving. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I mean, I think he took down his license plate. I'm just anyway. I haven't been able to get a clear account of perhaps a verbal exchange between the security officer at the campus and this person, this white race soldier. So after leaving the campus, he went to the Dollar General where he shot, I believe, Angela Carr first in the parking lot, walked in, shot 19-year-old AJ, and shot 29-year-old Gerald, who was a customer there. And apparently, according to that young lady's account, her name is Mercedes, had the opportunity to shoot several others. But anyway, so this person lived with his parents. I've seen Facebook posts from his brother, whose name I believe is James, who seems to be pretty racist, pretty racist. And of course, the infamous manifesto that he left, which the sheriff detailed as deranged. And I don't like the confluence of mentally unwell and racist, because there's a lot of racists out here who are mentally fine. they just racist. They just hate darkies, right? That's not a mental health condition. That is a deficiency with your character. There is something wrong with your soul. Yeah? That doesn't mean that you have a diagnosable mental health condition. And there's a lot of confluence between racists and people actually experiencing mental health crisis, right? Which, by the way, Ryan Palmatier is alleged to have had at least 2 encounters where he was placed on a psychiatric hold. One was back in 2017, which is, I believe, going to be the crux of whatever potential civil case that Ben Crump decides to bring against the state of Florida on behalf of the victims of the Jacksonville shooting. Because if Ryan Palmatier was determined to have some sort of documentable psychiatric issue that required a non-voluntary committal because of a fear that he would either harm himself or others, how is he allowed to buy a gun? Asks everybody. Well, I know the answer. Y'all know the fucking answer. Everybody know the goddamn answer. White people can do what they want in America. What are rules? Rules are for black people. The rules are for non-whites. The rules don't apply to whites. Whites can get around that shit anytime they feel like it, without a lot of problems, without a lot of issues doing so. Like, we don't have to wonder how he got a gun when he was known to have a mental health issue. Because the same thing was applicable to the Buffalo top supermarket shooter. I believe his name was Peyton Genderon, right? He had actually threatened to blow up his school. He had threatened his high school, I believe, the year before he went on this murderous rampage, killing 10 innocent black people, right? He was already on the radar. And New York actually has red flag laws. Was he flagged? Fuck no. Why wasn't he flagged? Because he's white. That's why. And I know some people might be like, oh, well, that's reductionist. That's too simplistic. Man, America is very black and white. Like, you can look at the shit very simply. 1 + 1 does equal 2. You know what I mean? It don't require a whole lot of nuance when it comes to how are certain demographics able to circumvent the rules and the laws in order to enact terror against their intended victims. It's magical. It's something to behold. And again, even with our white friends present, our anti-racist white friends present. That's why I tell y'all need to turn up. Y'all need to turn up the privilege. I'm telling y'all, you guys don't even understand what you can do out here. I'm not suggesting go do violence, but I'm telling you, y'all are too nice. Y'all need to flex that privilege out here, man. Y'all need to flex it because you can. You totally can. But yeah, obviously, I tell my white girlfriends, I tell y'all to Karen for good, right? If you're gonna be a Karen out here for justice, Karen out here for righteousness, but you can do it, man, because the rules do not apply. The rules are not applied the same. And obviously, the lot of the blowback is coming against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, rightfully so. All of DeSantis's anti-woke rhetoric. I mean, anti-woke means anti-black, right? Because what is woke really? Woke is a realization that white supremacy and racism have had a direct impact on us all in all ways, but specifically to oppress black folks, to harm indigenous people, to make life harder for Latinx folks, right? And for folks, all from the African diaspora, like that's what woke is. Woke is a realization that white supremacy and its ethos and racism and all that has been enacted directly through policies put forth by the federal government and on the local level and state governments also. To understand that all of this has had a detrimental impact and to understand why we are where we are on today. And at a vigil that was held, DeSantis showed up. Now he didn't talk long. he didn't talk long. DeSantis said, "Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night." Like he tried to make this shit short and sweet. And when I read, or rather saw, in some national news coverage that DeSantis was booed, I said, this sounds like only a sampling of the booing. I would like to hear the booing, and I'd like to hear the extended mix of the booing. Will, if you could cue up DeSantis coming to address the vigil there in Jacksonville. And I was glad to see that the people in Jacksonville gave DeSantis the business. They did give him the business. Now, I was listening out for "get the fuck out of here." Now, I didn't hear that. To that, I was a little disappointed. but all the rest of the jeers and the heckles that DeSantis received, I was in support of. So let's take a look at this clip. And then you're going to see a sister who is, I believe, a Jacksonville city councilwoman, basically tell the crowd to stop booing. Okay. So anyway, let's take a look at this clip.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is here. We're going to ask the governor if he will come down and turn remarks.
Thank you for doing this. I want to just say to the councilwoman, I got you. Don't worry about it. We've already been looking to identify funds to be able to help. One, make sure there's adequate security for Edward Waters College. We are not going to allow these institutions to be targeted by people. Your policies caused this! College. We are not going to allow these institutions to be targeted by people. Your policies.
Okay, listen, y'all. Let me tell you, we finna put parties aside, cause it ain't about parties today. A bullet don't know a party, so don't get me started. Okay, Jacoby is nice, but Ann is not. Now, if the governor wanted to come here and he bringing gifts to my community, y'all know I'm taking the gifts, because we've been through enough already, and I don't want to go through no more. Now, y'all just be quiet just a minute and let the governor say what he gonna say, and we gonna get this party started. You hear me? Okay, let's do it.
Hmm. Tasha, I see you in here. Thank you so much for making the time, hon. Again, we are so sorry. And I'd be curious, Tasha, your thoughts about the Jacksonville City Councilwoman there. Because when she said that DeSantis was bringing gifts to her community, what I believe she was referring to is the $1 million pledged by the governor to beef up security around, I'm not sure if it was Edward Waters University specifically or HBCUs across the state. I wasn't exactly clear, but he did pledge, I believe, $1 million in additional security. But it's like, the people was killed at the Dollar General, governor. I mean, we not turning down additional security money. Perhaps that was the councilwoman's point. But it seems a little misplaced, maybe, or maybe not. But for the councilwoman there to get up there and shush the deserved booing that DeSantis is really overdue for, right? Really, DeSantis deserved way worse than that, right? Like, if somebody had thrown something at DeSantis, like, I mean, I'd allowed it. You know what I'm saying? If it had been a situation like George Bush received over in Iraq, where the Bama, that hero, that Iraqi hero, threw them shoes at Bush, it's like, yeah, if DeSantis would have caught a shoe or a rock or whatever, hey, he might have had that one coming. But I thought her comments were a little misguided. Number one, like I said, don't shush a deserved booing of a fucking Klansman. We gotta let the Klansman get booed and embarrassed and heckled and made to feel bad and terrible. He should be fucking feeling bad, right? He does have blood on his hands. He does bear some responsibility for this tragic incident that occurred. But when she said it's not about party, a bullet don't know the party. Who said anything about party? Sister, I hope you didn't think that DeSantis was out there getting booed because he was a Republican. Like, no. This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. Like, you can't, it's a party. You think this is a party issue? And perhaps from her perspective, that's how she saw it. But no, she is mistaken. First of all, because white supremacists are members of all political parties, right? Let's be clear about that. But also, DeSantis uh is the figurehead. Like, DeSantis is running for president based off his anti-woke, anti-black policies. Also his anti-choice legislative and policy decisions, right? Like, DeSantis is running on denying children access to Black history, to denying medical care to trans children, to denying abortion services to pregnant folks. Like, this is his platform for president, right? And that's something that we definitely not going to ignore that. But no, he can't get booed for that. He should be booed for that. He should be booed as long as possible, right? For every second that he was up there, he should have been booed. Now, DeSantis did come back and made some, I guess, tough talk words. He called the shooter a scumbag, and there's no place for this, and it's unacceptable. All of this empty fucking rhetoric, right? That's some shit even Trump would say. Trump would have got up there and said that it was terrible, it was this. But it doesn't diminish what they stand for. He's not about to repeal any of his anti-woke act bullshit. Nah. In fact, he's going to go back to Iowa on the campaign trail and go to New Hampshire on the campaign trail and double and triple down on that shit. And, like I said, I was a little diminished myself mentally today trying to put together a show. And there were some things that I wanted to talk about because I saw Republican candidate, potential candidate for the Republican nomination for president, Vivek Ramaswamy. He said some dumb shit like he's never met a white supremacist. Really? Really? Hold on, let me get back to that. Let me put a pin in that. What the Republicans I have heard them say is that, anytime that there is a mass shooting, it doesn't matter if it was racially motivated or what the motivation was. Their pat talking point is that we have a mental health crisis in this country. They're not wrong, okay? And I mean, really, everybody can fully understand that, right? But where is the follow up? Where is the pushing on that? Okay, Republican nominee for president, Senator Tim Scott, former UN Secretary Nikki Haley, fucking the entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. Like, who the fuck ever? Former Vice President Mike Pence, current Governor Ron DeSantis. Y'all keep saying that there's a mental health crisis in this country. What the fuck do you intend to do about it? Because y'all make this not so astute observation, but you never come back with no policy. Because if you are experiencing or know anybody dealing with a mental health issue, you're on your own. You are on your own. It is on you to find and provide help for yourself, and which was made even more clearly in the package that we saw with the young mother who managed to escape death with her daughter. At the end, you heard the reporter say that they have been traumatized by this, by coming face to face with a race assassin, a white terrorist. They have been subjected to PTSD, which I'm sure that they are experiencing. Where is the help for that? And the reporter summed it up in the package. They're calling numbers, but they keep getting redirected here, misdirected there. Where's the help? That is probably another one of the pillars that is going to crumble, that is going to help to inevitably bring America down. Americans are gone fucking crazy. Like, we are, and I can't say that we are going crazy. We are being driven crazy. Capitalism is driving us crazy. White supremacist terrorism is driving us crazy. Misogyny is driving us crazy. But the funny thing is, the people who are most impacted by those systems, right, are not the ones doing the mass fucking shootings. Isn't that a bitch? The people who are bearing the brunt of misogyny and white supremacy are not the ones out here shooting up the fucking dollar store or the supermarket or the Jewish synagogue or their high school. What is wrong with these white folks? I'm sorry. Like, I mean, we have to ask the question. Because like their murderous ancestors before them, for some reason, they are seeking out Black people in Black spaces to murder them. Like, they're going to the Black areas with that intention, like their great-grandfathers used to. What is it? I said this on the show, on the morning show this morning. Like, I mean, and I think somebody in the chat actually replied, because I was like, where? Like, where is all these marching orders coming from? That these teenage white male shooters and these young adult white male shooters are getting these directives. Like, okay, when you turn 18, you need to go buy a gun. And then you need to go practice, and then you need to make sure your live streaming equipment works, and then you need to write your manifesto. Like, because it's being all of this is being run out of a playbook, right? It's like every single one after the other, like they're almost doing the exact same thing. Who is driving this? Who is directing this? And again, that's a question I'm asking, like an open question, like who is, and it may not be any fucking body. Like, they might just be doing this because it's in their spirit to do it. But it's too similar. There's too many patterns. But again, like the great grandfathers used to, I mean, they just used to go to the Black part of town, burn the businesses down, lynch whoever was handy, and that was that. And I feel terrible, right? Well, anyway, hold on. So I would like to know where the political or policy resolutions are coming when it comes to dealing with the mental health crisis, right? Again, racism is not a mental health issue, nor is it a mental health disease. Now, it does seem as though that this person, this Ryan Palmatier, did have some sort of mental health crisis that may have been even fueled by his older sibling. Which again, the fact that I'm not seeing enough about this guy, and it's fucking Tuesday, and this shit happened Saturday. Like, I feel like there should be way more out here about this person. Perhaps I have just missed it. Maybe I'm just not able to locate it. But I thought there would be a lot more known about him by now. And the fact that there isn't indicates some sort of level of protection, not even perhaps for him, but likely for his family, right? Maybe they are connected in some way, but again, maybe they don't have to be connected in some way. Who's running bucks? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on. I'm getting to it. Oh, Tasha, come on. You don't have to run us no bucks, baby. But thank you, Tasha. I appreciate that. I feel bad. I feel bad. And mama told me that you said that you probably gonna have to leave, girl. But where are you going? You know what I'm saying? Where in this rotten colony is it safe for black people? Honest question, serious question to the chat. Where in this rotten fucking colony is it safe for black people? I know Florida might feel more dangerous at the moment, right? But god damn, it ain't safe. I mean, it ain't it's not safer in Baltimore. It's not safer in New York. It's not safer in Chicago. Like, where is it safe? Where? It doesn't exist, I don't think, here. Damn. Whew. So, what can we talk about here, y'all? I mean, I talked about on the show last week, a couple weeks ago, hee hee ha ha, Trump got shooters out here, hee hee ha ha. Well, it's not hee hee ha ha when them niggas actually start shooting, right? And then they start shooting at innocents, and then they start arbitrarily, randomly targeting with intention, coming to our communities and shooting at our people. What do we do about that? What do we do about that? Well, what did the elders used to do, right? When Birmingham was Birmingham in the 50s and 60s, the brothers in the neighborhoods, they would take turns, they would do shifts, right? They would monitor who came in and out the neighborhood. They would be armed. Black people can't really do that now, right? And not to saying that we can't. Maybe I'm overstating it by saying that we cannot. But imagine, I just want you to imagine a group of black men in a vehicle posted up in a black area, visibly armed, right? What could go wrong? Sure, you think the police are just gonna let that be, huh? Absolutely not. And the irony is that the young woman, like in the piece that we saw, Mercedes, I mean, she said it so straight and meant it with her whole heart. She couldn't tell the difference between the white supremacist, white terrorists, and the fucking police, right? And therein lies our conundrum. Like, how are we going to protect ourselves? You think the police are going to protect us? Did they protect us in this fucking instance? Absolutely not. How come these white supremacist terrorists are not being more closely monitored by law enforcement, by federal agencies? I mean, I know why. Y'all know why? Because they white. God damn it. They have to be actually threatening pillars of power for the police to give a fuck. They have to be threatening Joe Biden. They have to be threatening the election results. They have to be threatening to disrupt democracy. If they threaten black people, well, how do we know if they're being serious? Jesus. How do we know? Check the scoreboard. Check the resume. I don't even know what to tell people how I don't know how you protect yourself from that. because it can't be everybody be strapped up. And as much and you guys know how I feel about the gun, I'm pro gun. But and to be clear, for all the alphabet boys and girls watching, because I know they be watching. I mean, I don't carry in the world. Number one, I'm not licensed to carry in the world. Number two, even if I were licensed to carry in the world, I still wouldn't carry in the world because to me, the opportunities for a situation to go wrong are too great for me personally. Now, people who are maybe better trained, more experienced, I've only, I go to the range here and there just to make sure I can hit the target. But, I mean, I don't want the responsibility of carrying a gun out in the world. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's just me personally. I don't knock people that do because clearly for reasons, right? This is America. And I feel I just trying to communicate this also to all of our what's up, Northern Witch? Hey, baby. I want to communicate this to to our viewers. Damien, I know you tune in enough to American shit that it is bonkers over here. But for people that may be watching this later or watching this from different parts of the world, America is wild. It's wild. Do I fear going out of my house every day? Absolutely not. Even though there absolutely was a mass shooting a quarter mile from my house this summer, right? It wasn't racially targeted, but fuck, mass shooting is mass fucking shooting. If multiple people's getting shot, I mean that underscores the probability and the possibility that you could either be a witness or, God forbid, a victim to such an event, right? Like that is the reality of living in this country. It really is. And you don't know who's armed. You don't know who's armed with what. And the problem is people like Ryan Palmatier, in the eyes of police and even maybe in the greater mainstream of America, whatever, like they're not looked at as dangerous. It is young black men that are looked at as dangerous for carrying guns, even though this is not young black men's MO, this kind of shit, right? It'd be different shit. It'd be different shit for some of our urban shooters. They it's did a little differently, but I just I just I don't even know how to tell people to be safe. Like and y'all know what my end goal would be, to get the fuck out, right? Can we get the fuck out of America? Is that possible? A lot of us are not going to be able to do that. At the moment, I can't do that. My fucking passport is expired. I got to get my shit together. I can't even leave the country. I can't even leave the country if I wanted to. Somebody have to smuggle me out. You know what I'm saying? But we at least, I hope, can get our, at minimum, our paperwork together so we can have the ability to roll out. But even is rolling out solving anything? No. It's one method, I suppose, of self-preservation. It doesn't address the issue. It doesn't fix the problem. And the problem in America, in my opinion, is not the guns. It is the soul and the psyche and the mental well-being of people living in this country. But the problem is we're not interested in addressing the mental health crisis. We're not interested in addressing racism and white supremacy. We're not interested in addressing misogyny. So we're still going to be seeing those groups who are marginalized and oppressed still be the ones experiencing the overwhelming brunt of the violence that America, being a deeply unwell place, produces. And I don't want this for your kids. I don't want this for me as a middle-aged woman. I damn sure don't want this for me, for elderly people. You understand what I'm saying? Like I would like to see the country change, but the country appears to be devolving even worse. Even worse. And these types of incidents happen under Democratic administrations, under Republican administrations. Like, this is the playbook for the US. This is what happens. And Black people are targets. Latino people are targets. Gay people are targets. Jewish people are targets. And we have to get to the root of the issue. But when you have people like Ron DeSantis who want to tell you that understanding American history through the race of lens is not important, and that these anti-woke / anti-black is the remedy. He rather is radicalizing further these young white race soldiers to action, to violence. And that fucking soft scrotum skin fucking pussy ass Ryan Palmatier, he shot himself. You little bitch. And I don't even mean to say bitch, because bitches is strong out here. He was fucking soft scrotum skin little. Damn it. I can't even say good. I can't even slur him properly because all my slurs are Gen X and they're homophobic and they're all this all things that I know better than to say, but I'm thinking the shit though, right? God damn. All I can say, y'all, is keep your head on a swivel. This Dollar General mass shooting is about the scariest thing that I could even think of, because you're talking about completely innocent folks who had no expectation that their lives were even in danger, going about their Saturday afternoon errands. And I don't know what you do to protect or defend yourself from that. But what we can do, we can continue to raise the alarm, raise the spectrum about the dangerous policies and rhetoric of people like Ron DeSantis, of people like Donald Trump. Dare I say, even people like Joe Biden. I was at my mom's over the weekend, and the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington happened this past weekend. And Al Sharpton was behind it, so my mother was locked in. Your mama was locked in. So ergo, therefore, I actually did consume a decent amount of the coverage of the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. And I think Reverend Sharpton, either he talked to Biden or they did something on MSNBC where I don't know how the fuck Biden got in the mix. And I was booing from my mama's couch. I started booing Joe Biden. And my mama said, well, who are you going to be for? If you're not for Biden, you're going to be for Trump. I said, no, Ma, I boo. If it was Trump up there, I'd be booing him too. I'd be booing both. And my mom said, well, you have to move on from the past. I said, I will never, ever forget what Joe Biden did to the men of my generation. I will never forget nor forgive. He locked up my husband, probably. He locked up my child's father, probably. You know what I'm saying? He saddled them with records and felonies for what? For why? Like Joe Biden racist policies to me are as culpable as Ron DeSantis policies. Joe Biden and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and Obama, they just speak it a little different. They just say it a little softer. They play the saxophone with niggas. They invite Queen Latifah up into the White House and shit, for party. Like, it's different, right? But I am under no delusion that the racist intent to fuck up black people is not any different. It actually is very much the same. It's just presented different. We just take it different, right? We got to get these races up out of power, everybody. Now, how do we do that? Well, this is where the onus comes on our white friends. because y'all, you got to go minister to your people. You have to. You have to go. What's the word that I learned 2 weeks ago? Proselytize. Shit, I'm probably not saying it right. You have to go. You have to go do this. People can quote Martin Luther King till they blue in the face. They can quote Michelle Alexander. They can quote this one. They can quote that one. The bottom line is white folks are only going to listen to other white folks. In the same way, how can we combat and finally defeat misogyny? Men are going to have to educate fucking men to do that, right? And it needs to be accelerated. It has to happen more quickly because these young race soldiers are being radicalized younger and younger. And I don't have any explanation for it. I I don't know. I don't know why. But they are, and they're dangerous. And they are willing to sacrifice themselves in the furtherance of a racist, hateful ideology. And if we don't get to them, we, meaning y'all, the white folks, if y'all don't get to them, if you know that your racist brother or your racist uncle, makes these racist jokes that his son and his daughter are internalizing, like, you gonna have to pull the son and the daughter, you're gonna have to pull your little cousin or your little niece or your little nephew, you're gonna have to pull them aside and have a different conversation with them and at least open up their minds into a different direction, because they are buying into it hook, line, and sinker. These young people do believe that somehow their country is being taken from them through the likes of the rhetoric of Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. It couldn't be further from the truth. I can't believe that these young white race soldiers don't want to inherit all the whiteness that they are entitled to. Man, you could have a good life out here, white boy. You know what I'm saying? You could have a real good life out here, white boy. What the fuck you want to come into the black neighborhood and shoot up the black folks for? Go live your white life. And at minimum, white folks, tell them that. Tell them that. I mean, I understand trying to convince them to be anti-racist might be a lot of work. I get that. But at least tell them not to be, intentionally out here trying to harm other people, and live your best white life out here without bringing harm to others. But maybe living your best white life is harmful to others. I can't call it. I cannot call it. But y'all, it's 8:00. I can't believe I didn't sit here and talk to y'all for an hour. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Oh, let me say this real quick. Hold on. Because I did see, like I said, I wanted to say something about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I meant to pull the clip, but again, like I said, my focus was down bad today. My focus was down real bad today. I couldn't focus on shit. So it's amazing that we even got what we got. But Ramaswamy said something. First of all, he said he never met a white supremacist. I said, you lying motherfucker. You lying motherfucker. How old was you, Vivek, in 2001? When 9/11 happened, you was about 15. Oh yeah, nigga, you know some white supremacists, because somebody absolutely called you a sand nigga terrorist out here in 2001. And if you lie and say they didn't, I know you lying, dog. I know you lying. Because I talked to the Muslims and to the Sikh people in 2001 after 9/11, and they told me straight up. I mean, we saw Sikh people be murdered in this country. Didn't that happen in Arizona Valley Girls with the Sikh gentleman who, was a turban wearing individual, was mistaken for being Muslim and just got murdered because he was brown and wearing a turban? Like, miss me with I don't know any fucking white supremacist Vivek Ramaswamy, you fucking liar. But he was trying to make the point, Vivek was trying to make the point that prioritizing oppressed racial groups is actually further emboldening racists. And I had to laugh. I had to laugh at that shit, dog. You have no concept of American history, do you? You didn't study it at all. You are unfamiliar with the 3/5 compromise. You were unfamiliar with the Dred Scott decision. You were unfamiliar with the policies of Woodrow Wilson and the Taney Supreme Court. Like, you don't know any of this shit, huh? You don't know nothing about redlining. You don't know nothing about Jim Crow, huh? Like, it's so amazing to me that racist whites and racist non-whites, because hey, you don't have to be white to be an agent of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? White supremacy got agents of all colors and faiths and backgrounds out here upholding that gospel, yeah? But you don't have to be white to understand that. But I have to laugh at particularly non-white white supremacists, especially those who are visibly non-white and those who may have immigrant backgrounds, right? Because I'm sorry, did you think that Indian Indian Americans and Indian immigrants 100 years ago were being treated well? Why? Because they wasn't black? Oh, oh, did somehow you think that the gains achieved legally through the civil rights movement didn't benefit you and your family somehow? Oh, I'm sorry. You thought they was always letting Indian Americans into white colleges? You thought they was always letting Indian Americans and Indian immigrants come live in all white neighborhoods? Motherfucker, are you high? are you high? Everything okay? Like this race neutral colorblind bullshit, we have to dead that shit too. Okay? Because this is America. Everything has always been viewed through the lens of race. Bathrooms were segregated because of race, and that wasn't that was state law. That was federal policy. That was a segregation was the law of the land. It was not simply a hearts and minds issue. And when the federal government, I suppose, came under enough pressure to change their segregationist laws on the books, it didn't legislate away hearts and minds. It didn't legislate away the racism and the hatred in hearts and minds. And that's what we're still left with. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But I'm gone. I'm going to get out of here. Because like I said, I'm a little grumpy. Oh, who's running money? I will always be here for that. Thank you so much. Thank you all. I appreciate y'all tolerating me on today. Thank you. And also, by the way, if you do want to support the channel, you can do so either this way. You can run us some super chats. Thank you so much. Or you can send us support directly via Cash App, BIDWKB, via Venmo at BIDWKB. What's up, Noble Brown? Thank you so much for your $22.22 donation. That is very, very generous. Thank you. We appreciate that as always. Let me read this comment here because you know I be having trouble. And what's the other way? PayPal.me/BIDWKB. Is that what I said? You said Petworth talking. Petworth talking sometimes. Petworth like the neighborhood? Talking isn't enough. That makes sense. You said this country was built on property. Yes. No, you did say Petworth. Okay. And they love between. Okay. You said I never like when people take my stuff. Right. I don't disagree with that. Like Mr. West Coast Vic is. Who is that? Who's West Coast Vic? Thank you so much for your super chat support. I appreciate that. I don't know what you mean, but I apologize for not properly processing your comment. Thank you, Infinite Content. He says, Kim, don't forget in the what? Oh, India still has a damn caste system. Yeah, I know. They have a caste system, right? I don't understand, but but that's the thing. Like Vivek, I don't know what's up with Vivek. I mean, I know what's up with Vivek. Vivek is white adjacent. He has white aspirations. So some immigrant groups, like assimilation is the goal, right? They don't want to be seen as whatever they are. They want to be seen as the exceptional Indian. You know what I'm saying? It's big exceptional Negro energy, magical Negro energy there, right? They want to be the exceptional Indian or whatever. But what another thing that I was going to do, in addition to talk about Vivek's comments, I think it was Dinesh D'Souza that posted something about Trump mugshot and something about the black community loves gang or something fucking dumb. And I'm like, how the fuck is Dinesh D'Souza and Vivek Ramaswamy? How the fuck do y'all pretend to be experts on what the black community needs? Do y'all even know black people? Seriously, like have you spoken to black people not of your same class? Have you visited have you visited all black areas? My guess is no. But y'all got all these opinions about the black community and the issue of racism, but you don't know shit about us. You don't even know American history. And I'm not about to sit here and pontificate about, I hear to your point, Infinite Content, about the Indian caste system. I'm not so versed in Indian, how the Indian social culture is arranged that I can comment on the shit and be like, oh, well, what y'all Indians, y'all need to be doing. I can't tell them people what they need to be doing. I don't know what they need to be doing. I'm not versed in their culture and the way they shit is set up for me to be finger wagging them, but them motherfuckers won't hesitate to finger wag us. When I say them motherfuckers, I'm talking about specifically the Viveks and the fucking Dinesh D'Souzas of the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? I shout out to all my Indians straight from the peninsula, from the subcontinent, because I fuck with a lot of things Indian. Okay, primarily the food, first and foremostly. Sometimes I wonder if I have a Southeast Asian ancestor as much as I love Indian food. Okay, I will fuck up some veggie samosas, some dal soup, some lamb korma, some chicken tiki masala. I will crush all of that shit. That shit is delicious. Okay, that shit is amazingly awesome. And just because I love their food, don't mean that I can be commented about their goddamn culture. But motherfuckers like Dinesh and goddamn Vivek, them motherfuckers would tell us that racism is over. Nigga, what? For who? Racism is over where? Is it over in your country of origin where your grandparents and your parents came from? Is it over there? Oh, you think it's over here? Nah, it ain't. And I bet you Dinesh and Vivek got called all kinds of sad niggas after 9/11. So I don't want to hear that shit. So anyway. All right, now I'm really gone. All right, y'all. Have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow on the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media. Thank you all for doing what you do. Like the video on the way out the door, please, and thank you. Y'all be easy. On behalf of Will and Molly, thank you all so much for your support. We will see y'all back here Friday. I will attempt to be more focused, but Mercury is still in marmalade, so I cannot make no promises, but I will do my best. I promise. So good night, y'all. We'll see y'all back here Friday. See y'all later. Bye-bye.